Oh my god, that intro is so fucking loud. Whoa! You know it's done when I just go, whoa!
Wow!
Hey! It's Stealth Josh right now.
So, Josh is like a CIA asset, so he's
No,
like,
I feel like he's a producer because he's, like a lot of podcasts and shit. You don't ever see them. They're in the background. Oh my God, what is that?
There you go. Yeah.
Now you can see me as an alien guy.
He's Johnny Mnemonic again. We went over this one time when you weren't here, Ken, and he was Johnny Mnemonic guy. Yeah, Josh is having issues with the podcast thing, and so we can't see him. So we were just assuming he's flicking us off the whole time. And by the way, we're Murder Moose Podcast, part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
Oh,
It's in the game.
Oh,
It's in my ass.
It's in Ken's ass.
that is so loud.
So we're back, and Ken's in America, unfortunately, for Ken.
In
That's
America.
I'm Rod.
That's Brian, wherever the fuck you are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Raise
Brian.
his
Brian's
hand.
back. Brian, I love you, and I'm sad when
miss
you're
you.
not here, man. Yeah.
I love you too. And I'm
miss
sad
you.
when I'm not here also.
We're all
Listen,
here,
unless
and
it's
that's
morning
crazy.
coming.
That's just crazy.
Hey, I just met you.
And this
And
is
this is
crazy.
So here's my number.
Fuck
Call
my
me
anus.
maybe.
Sorry.
Game.
It's in Ken's ass.
It's in my ass.
It's in Ken's ass. Yes, we're back. Okay, as you can see, or if you're looked at this at all before playing it, we originally said we were gonna do the monkey or the black coat's daughter, and then we ended up doing the Gorge. So here we are
Our
doing the
private
Gorge.
chat in Discord is the only thing that matters. Anything we say on this show doesn't
Facts.
make fucking any. Don't even say what we're doing next week. Just say, come and we'll surprise you, and maybe we'll surprise you with some cum. You know?
Come.
I don't know.
As you are.
Come.
It's in the game.
Oh.
As you were.
It's in the game. I love that.
Oh, shitigans. Oh, okay. So we're back, and Ken's in America, and the world is
In
A
America.
vampire.
despite all Ken's rage, she's still just a. What are you in a cage?
It's in the game.
Ken in the cage.
American citizen.
I mean, yeah.
For now.
We are,
Yeah.
since we're talking about America,
America.
we are delightfully in the very beginning phases of the find out phase.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
these motherfuckers have no idea how much worse it's going to get.
Oh yeah, I loved it today. There was a thing where I saw this online, and it was the UN was or whatever. I think the UN was voting on the whole like Russia, like whatever Ukraine thing, and like the
Because it's
three
been 3
countries that
years
said-
today, by the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's
has-
fucked.
they said, three countries had said no to it, and the three countries were North Korea, Russia, and the United States.
Yeah, of course. The thing that I saw that was really funny today was this woman from Alabama asking why the fuck her electric bill is so expensive, and she didn't read a letter that was clearly sent to her that said, thanks to Donald Trump's executive order, her electric bill is now going up.
Yeah.
And she's losing her fucking mind. And then you look at her page, and of course, massive Trump supporter, massive MAGA head, and just probably had no idea about anything, just liked the way he talked. However, that's fucking possible, but they do. And voted for him. Didn't know shit about what he was going to do. Didn't pay any attention. Just loved his Cheeto stained tan, and voted for him. Most of these
Yep.
motherfuckers didn't know anything about what he was going to do, and they just fucking blindly cast their vote.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
man.
now they're confused.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
dude, that's
so
why-
confused. Well, they were confused fucking from the get-go. I mean, they've been confused for a long time.
If you want to know how fucked up and how uninformed the average American citizen is, the number of Google searches on election day last year for when did Joe Biden drop out of the race was
Yeah, they didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't
And
even
it's
know.
just like,
Oh,
I'm
I
not
thought I
sitting
was
there.
going to be voting for either Biden or Trump, but who the hell's Harris? It makes you want to just fucking it blue screens me. Like I hear the ignorance and I'm just like I'm flabbergasted. So the information's fucking everywhere. Vast majority of people have fucking smartphones, and you got a world of knowledge at your fingertips. There's more technology in my fucking phone than what they used to land a goddamn guy on the moon.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out how to use it to find out what the fuck's going on in the world today.
But the deep state, Brian, the deep state.
It's been so bad here. I was at Walmart speaking to this woman that my mom knows, and one of the things that she informed me when she was telling me about how great Trump is and all that other shit was we all knew it was going to be great because the psychics said so.
Oh my fucking God.
And I was like, damn.
Oh.
There we are.
John Edwards, they trust.
She then proceeded to tell me some of the most racist shit I've heard in a very long time and all kinds of other stuff. And yeah, I hate it here, man.
Yeah, I've started looking for jobs elsewhere. I started my search in Canada because it's right next door. And
well, he's picking fights with Canada, man. I don't know. He doesn't want to be friends with us anymore.
I know.
He wants to take his toys and go home, and Trudeau is like,
"All right, I'm out of here." He's like, I'm used to being bullied, but this I can't take.
Right.
How much longer is Trudeau in office? I thought
he's not. He already like took off. He's just until like But the government's not doing shit right now.
Yeah. Right, he's still the prime minister. He just he left his party, and then like whenever it comes time for voting, he won't be eligible or something.
Oh, yeah, silly Castro Jr. I mean, if you want to hear what I was talking about, there are theories that he's Castro's love child, and you look and compare the two, and you go, oh, because his parents were friends with Castro, and his dad was supposedly a well-known homosexual back in the day, and you couldn't be gay open back in the day. So here we are. Yeah,
back in the day.
You guys been doing anything else fun? I mean, besides the world coming to an end, is there anything else going on?
Reading, lots of traveling. We got a lot of snow, and I couldn't get back up here for 2 days. And I got my beanie weenie, but I don't know where he is right now. But that's okay because he's a mess.
Where did you have to stay? I saw you posting about that. So some people left their cars on a mountain.
Oh yeah. So my parents live up on a mountain, and it's like really curvy roads. Some places are only 1 car length wide, but like going up, there was a car that had already gone up in a ditch, and they were all standing outside of the car. There was another car a little bit further because it's just ice and snow, and it's not really plowed, and it's private land, whatever, private. But there's a fuckload of rental cabins up here. But on the way, when we started going up, we got past the people that were stuck because my dad doesn't get stuck in snow and ice. But we got to this curve that like goes up and curves, and it's like blind. And in the middle of it was a car, like, here's the road. This car was like literally just across the road. They could have backed up. They could have gone anywhere. They just left their car in a ditch. They were just, or not even in the ditch, just in the road. And they were just like, man, fuck it. That's somebody else's problem, and left it. So we couldn't get back. And then
people do that. It's
yeah. They just leave it. They're just like, well, whatever. We'll figure it out. And then the next day, we didn't think we could get up because it had frozen again. So we stayed in town, and yeah, it sucked.
That's the same type of people who uses like a communal microwave and leaves time on it. Those motherfuckers. I want to punch everyone in the taint that does that. Like we have people work microwaves at work, and they're like, leave 19 seconds on it. I'm like, because I'm cleaning up after you piece of shit. And it's the same fucking like energy. But like, here we are. It's like, you know how, I don't know if you saw this, Ken. I think you did, because I think you might have sent me one of these. The thing was like, I was do 2 clips that had the same energy, and it was like Trump going, you don't talk to me like that, I'm your president. And then it was Joffrey screaming about one of Joffrey's tyrants, like on Game of Thrones. And so it was all like,
oh yeah. That I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That was great.
So yeah. Oh fuck. I think I finished up Spider-Man last week, the cartoon, and it's interesting. I liked it. That was a little wild of a ride for like what the holy shit, there's
Hey,
Josh.
look at that. We can see Josh.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything and it just popped
I didn't
up.
I've been messing with some stuff, but it just chooses when it's like, oh, actually, yeah, it's just gonna work
That's-
now.
That's incredible.
I feel like someone is just like coming into my computer and watching me, and then they're like, oh shit, he needs to use this. We better get the fuck out of here.
It's the what is the Canadian CIA? Like it's the Canadian CIA or FBI,
It's just-
whatever the fuck it is.
It's just
The Mounties.
moose.
Yeah, it's
Mounties.
just moose.
It's just moose.
Who's the cartoon
just
character?
moose.
Like the guy the Mountie guy? What was his name? I can't think of him. Like from the 60s. Oh.
The
Dudley Do-Right?
Yeah, that Dudley Do Right. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name.
Was he Canadian?
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
mountie.
I mean, he was a
He's a
Mountie,
Mountie.
so yes.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. There's no,
Yeah, I think
There's no
Brendan
mouth-
Fraser played him in the movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty
I think so.
American.
he did all those 80s, I mean, those old school cartoons, because he also was George of the Jungle. George the Jungle, friend to you and me.
All I've been doing
Watch out for
lately
that
is
train.
work, and I like that. I've been doing internal stuff for my company and outreach and procedures and a whole bunch of really good organization, and yeah, it's been working too. There's been some traction
Awesome.
and amazingness.
So Brian's been doing rehearsals. He's
Yeah,
in
I've been
Cry Like
surviving
Baby.
the frigid fucking cold. We had record lows here in Missouri last week on like Tuesday and Wednesday, particularly Wednesday, I believe. It got to where it felt like it was negative 20 degrees in Missouri. It did prompt a pretty funny conversation that I had with Stephanie. I was bitching about the weather. I was bitching about how cold it was. And I said, and I quote, it's like fucking Siberia here right now. And to which she starts laughing. She's like, it's not that bad. So I looked up the average temperature of Siberia is -5 Celsius. At the time I had looked it up, it was -5 Fahrenheit. So -5 Celsius is like 23 fucking degrees Fahrenheit. So it was fucking colder here than the average temperature of Siberia.
Yeah.
So that level of petty that I had when I had
I
to
do that
look
all the
that
time.
information up to throw. I was like,
And
look,
I'm in
wait,
Canada, and it's been
colder
spring
fucking
here.
Siberia here right now. But
Dude,
other than
dude,
that, yeah, it's been super fucking cold. I watched what did I watch? Me and Ken watched The Monkey, but not together. But
Which
No,
is
you're
tragic.
holding hands.
She's not in Missouri, America.
We were holding hands the whole time.
Yeah,
Spirit
Rod and I
hands.
do that all the time. We
We
go.
hold each other's
we hold
penises.
hands. No, I
We
do
hold
the
each-
popcorn trick. Come on, I'm classy. All right.
I'm classy. I do the
Dude. So you just
popcorn
reminding
tug. You gotta love it.
I picked
That
so
butter,
I picked,
man,
I
it's
was
great
pick-
lube.
I was house sitting for Zach and Katie, or Zeke and Katie last week, as you watched and the show, and I was recording from there. And so Tuesday night, I picked them up, and they were supposed to arrive in Denver at 2:00. 2:00, they got on the airplane. Their windshield cracked.
The
And
airplanes.
so, yeah,
That's
it
Oh,
it
fucking-
cracked.
I
And so
didn't
they-
know that it was the windshield when you said
Yeah.
it was a window. I thought you meant
Yeah.
it was just like a
No,
random
there's a
window.
wow.
Their windshield cracked, so they got them off the plane, and they were gonna
They
get
didn't do
another.
like the trash bag trick.
No, they didn't do the trash bag trick.
that would depressurize quick.
Fucking-
And then they were gonna get
Missouri
get
loves
another plane.
that.
They were in Miami. They were gonna get another plane from Orlando, and that plane was broken. And so they ended up like being like a 9-hour delay. They landed at like 9:45 at night, and then picking up luggage. I didn't get back to their place till like after 11:30, and I'm like, but like Katie got out of the airport and was like her nose started bleeding because it goes from like humidity of
Yeah,
Florida to like
Bummer.
Colorado being what it is. So yeah, it was
Same as Calgary, man. That was
Yeah,
like Calgary's fucked.
yeah.
2 days before I flew to, like, I had to fly from the airport I fly out of to Toronto, and 2 days before was the day that flight flipped on the landing strip
no
and
shit.
crashed. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Thank you. Like, it's all, we were already on edge. I know that it's, whatever, silly, but we were already on edge with how bad, like, planes have been crashing, which I know it's not like that bad, but still.
It's because of Trump.
I
It
just pretty
is.
much blame everything bad that happens on him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty easy.
Okay, let's dive into.
I'm not done.
Oh,
I'm not done because I'm trying to find people to play with. I started playing Hunt the Showdown again. So
Are you
one of
gonna
you
do-
three motherfuckers needs to start playing with me.
I don't
Are you
play
gonna
games.
do what's his face's
Post Malone?
stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely. Already got
Hell
it.
yeah. He's
Yep.
awesome.
And I got a Ghostface skin as well. They had a Scream
Ooh.
crossover that I didn't even know about, and you can get like a Ghostface hunter.
I
And he
I
looks
used to play with
pretty
you,
rad,
Brian,
actually.
back in
yeah,
the
I know.
day.
Because we used to, right when we started, you would scream and start shooting your gun aggressively at trees to entice the other hunters, which I loved, by the way.
I mean, probably. Yep, that sounds familiar. Yep.
But then other than that, I've been playing that in Marvel Rivals. I love Marvel
Nice.
Rivals. So fucking fun. So, okay, now I'm done. You can go ahead and continue with your
Okay,
fucking
let's.
podcast.
We're gonna dive into the Gorge, which came from 2025, the year of 2025, and
The year
yeah,
of Trump shit. Ting.
God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna read a synopsis, and it
Shit
goes
in
as
my
follows.
mouth.
Why are you reading
Sorry.
the synopsis?
Two highly trained operatives become close after being sent to protect opposite sides of a mysterious gorge. When an evil emerges, they must work together to survive what lies within. This was directed by Scott Derrickson and written by Zach Dean. And
Scott Derrickson,
stars
the same guy who
Miles-
did this movie right here.
What movie?
Yes.
I can't
That's
see which
is
one
it-
it is.
that's my
It's a
black
Derrickson
phone
movie.
poster I did.
Oh yeah.
And I was gonna say this. Okay, you guys called Aliens not a horror movie. If you're gonna call Aliens not a horror movie, this is not a horror movie either.
This is a
But,
love
um,
What do you mean
story,
by
and that's
you
why
guys?
Rod loved it.
Yeah, this is a romantic sci-fi.
Rod was like,
horror film.
"Oh, that's me. I would do
I
that."
I don't ever recall saying that Alien was not a love story. Or was
Aliens.
not a.
Oh,
Aliens.
I said
Sorry.
Aliens was an action movie, and I was correct.
Aliens is an action movie with horror tendencies.
That's what this was.
This
Oh,
is an
I'm
action
saying.
movie with horror tendencies.
This is
Yeah.
an action movie with Disney tendencies.
I'm a whore with action tendencies.
All that was missing was the music when they they unite and shit.
I have
It
to
was
say,
Pirates
I
of the
laughed-
Caribbean in the Gorge. It was totally Pirates of the Caribbean, like, but
It
in
reminded
a
me.
fun
Of,
way.
it reminded me of
Yeah.
the tree people from Lord of the Rings, but like
Everybody
Even the
online
fucking
says
trees
Groot.
walked in that movie.
They were like, "This is Groot," and
But-
this is also Groot.
The thing that this movie did well was like, well, in the horror aspect, like it was just fun. Like it didn't feel too horrific, like the spider things and all that. Like when you start to see, like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? There's enough
Yeah.
like, there's enough of a story in between them to make this
Yeah.
movie as well received as it is. Like if there wasn't enough
Yeah.
going on in the actual gorge, this movie wouldn't work whatsoever. And I feel like
Yeah.
they had enough of like a story like on either side of this movie for the whole thing to make sense being created. And I feel like Apple movies are polished in a way just a little bit better than any other streaming service. So they actually make movies that you
Yeah.
will like on purpose. It's like
I agree.
this
with
has
that. I
Apple
agree with that.
polish. It's like it's not
Yeah.
Netflix polish where it's like, oh, we've spent the money, but we don't want you to actually like this movie. We just want you to
Netflix
kind of
polish
meh.
is just Netflix polish is just Photoshop.
Yeah.
That's it. This
Yeah.
is more.
Whereas,
than that. This goes deeper. This
like Ted Lasso, everyone loved it. There was
Yeah.
really good characters in it and like good character development. And this one felt the same for Apple. It's like you really like these characters and the love story about it, you want them to cut together, and they're both fucking gorgeous people, and that's an Apple thing too. It's just like, oh fuck, I want to see them fuck. Let's go, Apple.
I mean, and Netflix has the big stars, but then it's like we talked about this before, where how every Netflix has like, okay, your camera has to be on these settings, and like they literally use the same settings for every single Netflix movie. And this movie just like, it's just two people that are just acting their asses off for most of the movie. This movie, what, 3/4 of it has no dialogue? I mean, most of the movie does zero dialogue, and they don't need it because it's like
there's only like 5 people in the fucking movie.
But this movie also has a runtime that I usually don't get behind, and I wanted to keep watching this. I wanted. It could have been longer, and I was so into this, and I was like, this again.
Yeah, it moved well.
Yeah,
I wish they would have spent more time, like where they were doing the development and everything, but also more time in the Gorge to kind of flesh that out. There was a lot. So I was reading through like what the previous script was going to have versus what actually came out, and there was going to be a lot more involving the guy that he did the changeover with.
JD.
He was supposed to actually fall in the Gorge at some point. Like he was going to be there, and they were going to go rescue him or something. Like there was so much more. I really enjoyed it. There were moments though that I felt like it kind of dragged. Like I mean, it was really late last night when I was watching it / early this morning, but it did feel like there were moments where it kind of dragged, but I really enjoyed it. However, something felt off. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of the CGI that they used. It looked kind of like it was good, but like I liked the like reel that they did with like the tree and whatever, but the tree that was like eating him. But there was something off. I don't know.
Shadows were off in some parts for sure. I noticed.
Was it? Yeah, like seemed weird. And then, but like as far as like Anna Taylor-Joy's character, like gorgeous. It felt like she was such they're fucking both gorgeous. Jesus.
Facts.
It felt like she felt like she was a badass, but then at the same time didn't feel like a badass. I don't know. There was
that one scene where
kind of disconnect.
She's going against that like main boss guy and is holding her own, but as soon as he shows up and shoots him, she like cowers over and cries to him like she's not a badass in the exact same, like the major switch. Yeah, like I noticed that too. I was like, are you badass or are you...
There were a lot of moments like that. And that was really weird for me because I was like, okay, I don't understand. Like, I thought you were like, you're this badass assassin that's like gone through all this shit. Like, you're not going to necessarily always react that way. That's weird. I did see something that I thought was interesting as far as like the characters, like one of the sections where he's playing drums and she's playing chess. Like, they were both playing drums, but yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like, sorry, but like, you know, her being.
I thought it was drumming Tuesday. What are you doing? The chessboard is on Wednesday.
But like, apparently, you know, that being a nod to her, and then drums being a nod to him, and they apparently asked them to remove that because they didn't like those, and they were like, nope, they're staying. Like, it's very interesting.
Well, I mean, that very much. I mean, that was it felt like a nod to Whiplash, yeah, which is
Whiplash, and then her being the Queen's Gambit,
Gambit, yeah.
I have a fan theory I like to put in my head that at the end of Cabin in the Woods, they actually stopped the old gods, and this is where Sigourney Weaver went.
Oh, that's funny. that's very funny.
I want more Cabin in the Woods. That just needs to be. Oh fuck! There could be like a whole series on Netflix or wherever on that.
Why somebody hasn't tried? Well, maybe they've tried, but it is a Joss Whedon product, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, he doesn't exist anymore.
Fuck that dude. My only complaint about this movie is incredibly minor. I wish I could have seen this in the theaters.
Yeah, I think this in theaters would have been exponentially better.
I would love to watch this in the movie.
Did it get
No. This is just an Apple TV original release, and that's it. And that kind of bums me out because the quality of this movie, because you mentioned it earlier, the polish in this film is so deep. It's deeper than just like the Photoshop Netflix polish that we always seem to get, because like Netflix's original shit looks great, but the depth is usually not there. Because
a lot of Netflix movies are going to theaters too, so I don't know why
and they
Apple
are,
isn't.
Because like, what was that Scorsese one that they did, The Irishman?
Yeah,
that got a theatrical release, and
which it was like
one of their.
It was like 9 hours long too.
Yeah, it was long.
No, that one got a theatrical release because Scorsese wanted to be.
Scorsese wanted it.
Yeah. Well, no, he wanted to be, in order to get Oscar nomination, you have to have a narrow window. So that was the only reason, which I think is stupid, because any Scorsese film should be a theatrical release. It's fucking Scorsese.
Scorsese, exactly. But yeah, I wish I could have seen this in a theater. Like I really enjoyed this a lot. This was really good. So yeah, that's my only real complaint, is that I wouldn't have never had the opportunity to watch this on the big screen.
It feels like
Oh, sorry. I really enjoyed the music. I mean, Trent Reznor.
Yeah, I love Trent Reznor. So
who else was it? It was Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Yeah, it was great.
That's like that was like the most horror-y part of this whole movie. It was like that, like I felt like I don't know for sure. It feels like they were doing that thing where they use the like tones you can't hear, that like fuck with you kind of thing. Like, you know, those frequencies that are so low or high or whatever that like that just like not the brown note, but the brown note. But like that was I didn't even realize it was Trent in that, and I'm like, that soundtrack's fucking amazing, like epic. Like you guys are right. This felt like the most theater movie that went to straight streaming, like I think I've ever seen. Like obviously directed by Scott Derrickson, who's had a fucking amazing career.
I've discovered watching this, and I'm a fucking, and I always liked the vast majority of his work. I don't think I've ever seen anything that he's done that I really didn't like. I like his Doctor Strange movie, but I think I'm a bigger Derrickson fan than I even was. He's just a quality filmmaker. He just makes quality shit. So
I mean, his last movie was The Black Phone, which came out during the fucking during that mega year of horror, and that movie held up with
good.
It went.
That's a very fun rewatch too.
I haven't watched it since the theater.
I think The Black Phone is a very fun rewatch.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I don't know. Because I did this poster that went kind of semi-viral online, I've rewatched it a few times and had like people from the movie reach out to me to get prints of that and stuff. And that's awesome, man. It's tied me to the movie a lot more, and like to him as a filmmaker, just because I did this poster like right before it came out and was like kind of guessing about what the movie was going to be about, and like ridiculously nailed it somehow. He reminds me of what's his name, the director who does all the amazing
Mike
stuff.
Flanagan.
He reminds me of like a Flanagan, and he'd be like a Flanagan for Apple if they can get him to do more properties like Flanagan's getting it on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I think it's weird because like he has one of those things where like it's like Sinister is such a like Sinister is one of those movies I think that a lot of people who don't even watch horror movies saw.
Love
which
Sinister.
That's one of my favorites.
But it hits so hard. It hits so hard.
I'm like, why are you people? That's like why people who don't watch horror movies are like, I'm gonna go see Terrifier 3. Do. And it's like, no, don't do that. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't like spice. I've never had spicy food, so I'm gonna take the fucking.
I'm gonna go on hot ones today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on hot ones. But instead of like it being like a scale, it's just like the atomic bomb sauce on every single wing. Yeah. It's like, you need to scale up to these things. And I'm not saying you're not going to be able to handle it, because maybe you can, but like,
we're all desensitized.
But like that movie, like Sinister is still like one of those movies that people are like, I think that I really like Sinister. I think my problem with Sinister is that it's such a dark movie. Like it's so,
but it's like, done so well.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm saying that it's a movie because of how dark it is. it's not something I go back to because it's like it's such a like it sucks the soul out of you. It's not a have a good time horror movie. It's like, oh, this is really well done, but you're like, you want,
but it stays with you, and I don't remember. I don't remember a horror movie after that for a long time that had that much like staying power in my life. Like I remember that movie more than any movie, like for pretty much like a decade, or I don't even know when that came out. It's probably like 10 years after that. That one still stands out way more than most other fucking horror movies, and there's something to be said about that.
They've had people watching it hooked up to shit, and it literally like hits the scariest movie ever made with like brain chemistry for a lot of people, like what they're like, heart rate and all that shit. Like, so yeah, it's up there, and people call it out, and it's like that movie's wild, man. But like,
I think that movie's even not that we're talking about it, but we are talking about Derrickson. That movie has grown over the years. I feel like it got, when it first came out, Sinister didn't quite reach where it needed to, and then over the course of the years, I think people have found it and shown more of appreciation towards it for sure.
Is there
it probably has a lot to do with that science the experiment that you talked about, that where it became science basically proved that it was the scariest film ever made. And that probably helped it, but it's nice to see, because that's just
I didn't know that.
They I can't remember the reason. It's on the Wikipedia page, so you can read all about it.
I had heard about it.
It has since been replaced though by that Shudder original, The Host.
Oh, really? It's like that one's really well done, and we had a lot of fun with that. Well, but I wouldn't put that anywhere near the same.
I think I tend to agree, but it is a fantastic little film. And
it was so fun, and I love the time constraint that it had, because they didn't want to pay for this. Like I was like,
they didn't want to pay for Zoom.
Perfect, so good. Like there were so many well-made decisions with that fucking movie.
Yeah, but I mean, this movie, though, Gorge, is back to a movie that's just like it's really. I mean, we saw it. You talked about he did Doctor Strange, the first film, which is, I mean, I hate origin stories for comic book movies a lot of the time now, and he still did a very good job with that. And like Benedict Cumberbatch obviously did a great job and all that stuff. And that movie had that cosmic horror stuff, and he wanted to make the sequel, but he wanted it to be more horror-y.
Yeah, and then they go and get Sam Raimi, and then they make a horror movie. That was kind of a slap.
Well, he wanted it to be rated R, I think, as part of the thing.
Oh, really?
And they wouldn't let him, because that was before Deadpool. I think if they tried to do it now, like that, it happened after Deadpool. It might have happened.
That being said, Raimi did do a good job on
I liked it. Yeah,
it's really fucking good.
But like this movie is just such a well done movie that has like it almost. You guys were talking about it. This movie is almost like it's kind of comparable to things like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's like, it's kind of like split in half, right? Like the first half is really kind of like a romantic movie, like
you're right,
where they're like falling in love in the first half, and it's like that thing
could be another example.
Yeah,
a lesser example.
Yeah, but like it's all that stuff where you have that movie, and then it's like. Then like her birthday happens, and like the fucking everything
fucking
finally starts and the fucking and you start seeing the monsters and all that shit. Dude, I love, because I've watched this now twice. He's like so much. He's like, I got to get that pussy, and so he takes an RPG and he's like, getting it out. And
sometimes,
he's like,
you got to do what you got to do, man.
Links to smash,
dude. And I'm not complaining, because Anya Taylor-Joy is fucking. I said this before, gorgeous. But she's not even the hot one in this movie. It's fucking Miles Teller's the hot one in this movie. Yeah,
I have her on my arm. You can't really tell, but that is her right there.
The witch, yeah. I do love that tattoo. I like that tattoo more than the movie, in fact.
But like he shoots a rocket across the canyon to teleport over, and then
teleport
so Fortnite. It was so Fortnite. The RPG, like everything that he did there, I was like, holy shit, this is just Fortnite right now. Jesus. And they're in forts too. Yeah, they're honestly in forts. And it, like, fuck.
And then
that is definitely a port-a-fort. They're both in port-a-fort,
Yes.
100%. Like,
I was laughing so hard though, like when like it almost sets the forest on fire so it can get laid, and I'm just like, and then she's like into it too. She's like running up and she's running and throwing the
I
fire
just love the
extinguisher at that
shower
building.
scene when she's just like goes to put the clothes in and is just like, actually, I'm gonna put them over here instead. Like I was like, oh, clever girl. Clever.
You know what? Okay, you know what I want him to do, and I don't think this is gonna happen, but it'd be fucking cool. If you guys know, he was in a movie that I've never actually seen. He was in Fantastic.
Fantastic
so
Four, Fantastic.
Oh,
they got the two.
If you know, you know.
Avengers. Yeah, he's got the 2 Avengers multiverse movies coming out. If they had him in one of those as like, there's an evil Reed Richards. I think that would be cool. I think that would be a good Marvel thing to do. Like the creator, I think his name is. Like he's just like the smartest man in the world, but gone like evil shit, and fucks a lot of shit up. But yeah, and like then you kind of get into the whole like he falls into that canyon, and then like, dude, I love the color grading like when they're in the gorge. Like there's just like yellows and reds and blues and like. It's just like, I think I know what you're talking about now that I've watched this twice, but there's like, I don't know. There's something missing at some point in this movie that I can't put my finger on. And I don't know.
A few of the things that they did in the gorge, CGI wise, was in the uncanny valley area where they didn't go enough in the artistic direction, and they kept it a little too like, but didn't go all the way unrealistic either. So there was like some of the things that were super uncanny valley that I was like, it's like, dude, it's not good enough and it's not bad enough. If they went like more on the like maybe CGI or whatever, like Jumanji did in Jumanji 1 with the like creep, you know, like that isn't uncanny valley and it works and it holds up better than this probably will.
Dude, I wanted the scariest monster was the fucking the centipede that it reminded me of, remember Josh, one of our favorite movies ever we did on this podcast, Love and Monsters, like that giant centipede.
So good. And that was a cheapo movie to be made too.
Yeah, it was.
I have not watched that. I need to watch that.
Oh fuck, it's so good, dude. It's so fucking good.
It's great. Yeah, it's very much one of those like, it's kind of like The Mummy, really, right, Josh? Like it's like The Mummy a lot into like the Brendan Fraser mummies, because it's got like it's like, and I mean in a tone wise where it's like an adventure-y kind of film that has monsters in it that like.
But Love and Monsters is one of those ones that came out of nowhere and was randomly like, what is this? And it, you know, like you don't see those movies very often where it's just like, what the fuck was this? And why was this so fucking good? Like,
and then nobody ever watched it. Yeah. And then nobody ever watched. Yeah. That movie just.
The only other movie I can think of right now that did that to me was what they called it Live, Die, Repeat. But I think that's what they're actually making that. Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow was one of those random movies that it came out of nowhere. No one was talking about it. I just randomly watched it and was like, why is no one talking about this? This is the best fucking thing I've seen all year. Like,
Edge of Tomorrow
fuck.
was fantastic. And yeah, I think that was a Doug Liman film. I know Tom Cruise is in it, but I want to say Doug Liman directed that, the guy that made he actually directed the Roadhouse remake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Which again, I liked it.
The Roadhouse remake is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very
super well done.
Yeah, too bad Conor McGregor turned out to be kind of a piece of shit. Well, we already.
He was a piece of shit before he made that movie.
He was really fun in that movie. Unfortunately, he was really funny in that movie. But
he got to be himself.
It's just like he pretty much got to be himself.
I think that I think that the biggest problem this like might be like the CG stuff. Like I feel like a lot of it reminded me of Annihilation, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
because
such a good fucking movie.
Because
they even
way.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that movie. Fuck, I forgot how good that was. We watched it in Katie's Discord a couple like a month and a half ago, and people are just like, "This movie's crazy," and I'm just like, "Oh, just wait till the bear scene," because that bear scene is just fucking. You know what? And Ken will get this too, because that bear scene, especially if you fall into like to urban legend kind of things with like skinwalkers and shit, that's what that reminds me of. And it's just like, oh, like because the using her voice and like all that stuff and how all that stuff is like creepy and like all that stuff. But yeah,
If you're ever in the woods in Appalachia and you hear somebody say your name, no, you didn't.
yeah, no, you didn't. You and the
You absolutely
further
did not.
and the further away it sounds like, the closer it is. Dude, there are some. I know most of it's just complete bullshit, but you can make some fucking scary ass shit from that.
Nope, you don't.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, man.
The whole scene where I'm thinking about when they're about to like run out and it's like a giant slime monster that reminded me of something from like, it reminded me of Futurama. You know, Futurama has the big thing that the green alien slime monster kind of like that, like eats people that, and you see it inside of
Futurama.
Futurama's great.
What I've seen, I enjoy.
It's the movie or it's the show that just cannot die. It's like been canceled like 18 times, and it's still
it's
just
like a
that
cat,
one that
yeah.
It's just like, you know what? We're fucking back.
Well, dude, Hulu's done 2 seasons of it now, and they were both really good. Like they did, like what Comedy Central had it, and they were kind of like, but like, they've both been really good. And I think a lot of that stuff is like, you know what I think? I think what the more I'm sitting here talking about it with you guys, I think that the like default stereotypical black, what was it? Black, not Black Rock. What were they called in this movie? Sigourney Weaver's Dark Waters? Dark Water?
Something or another.
I have no clue.
I can't find it.
I think they might have been too generic of a bad guy kind of thing. Like, and like, just like we're like, I think that might be it. It might have been like, I wanted a more legitimate than we're making human, like, you know, hybrid
Cyborgs.
of these. Yeah. Like super trooper things or whatever. I don't know. I like it. But man,
I like that they have that like super important computer down there that like, you know, is super top secret and it doesn't have a password.
And he didn't see the big camera taking pictures of them.
Yeah.
Like
I was watching it the second time. I was like, "Where the fuck's this?" Because I knew that happened, right? I'm like, "Where's this camera?" There's no camera on top of the fucking monitor, that's for sure. And I'm just like, "Where's this camera? Where is this camera? Where is this camera?" It sounds like bullshit.
They built it into the monitor that was from the early 2000s.
Yeah, when they were still square. That was like when I was in college.
Lake.
Yeah, Dark Lake. There you go.
Yeah.
But
also, by the way, wasn't Dark Lake on the satellites and stuff, like printed on the satellites and whatever?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, because they made everything, and so like, but they didn't notice that beforehand, which was like you get to the point where you're like, how much paid? I don't know. I think sitting in a fucking tower like that for a year would drive me fucking crazy. I don't know.
I wish that they made like a little bit of a like a note to their whole thing, putting all the bombs on all the things at the end. Like I wish there was just like them walking one day together and then maybe just like a box hidden in the background that you would have to like look for to see that, you know, like there wasn't enough of like when did they do that? You know,
they explained
I know they explained it, but like
yeah.
I wish there was just like a little bit of like a nod like that would have been like kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, seemed like she was on set for about 12 minutes total, and because she's Sigourney Weaver and she's so good. I hate how well she pulls off evil old capitalist lady. Because again, go back to Cabin in the Woods. Like I said, she was evil old capitalist lady. And that she was supposedly saving the world, but like the whole like, who do you think I am? That's like that scene in the beginning. She goes, "Who do you think I am?" From how you're dressed and how that lieutenant responded to you, a spook, aka a CIA agent. And that's the most telling thing is that she doesn't acknowledge him or say he's right or wrong. She just goes and continues on her way. You're like, oh, this bitch is evil, and she was evil. I mean, there was all like, you think about it. The weird thing is, okay. So the first dude who ever manned the tower he finds it was one of the guys they killed. And I was like, how did he get down into the gorge that he had found on the wall? I don't know. I was at one of those things like, I don't know. They said they sent 20,000 fucking horseback troops into there, and they all like that's why there's so many.
20,000?
That's what they said. Yeah.
2,400.
Was it 2,400? I thought it was
You had thousands and hundreds today.
2,400.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. I was like, that would have been a lot of fucking gorgers.
Well, I mean, like you go down there and it looks
feed
like
all them horses.
I mean, obviously they weren't eating very much.
The annihilation thing definitely like when it came to when they were all like morphed together and they're going through that like bridge, I was like, this is so annihilation, like all stuck together, or like Hellraiser shit or something. Like,
well, the video that they put on was like everything had basically like blended with human DNA. So those were like plants that had like human DNA in them now, right? So it was like, but like I didn't want those things to touch me. It looked like they felt all goopy and shit. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's an ADHD thing.
Yeah, I know. It's very rare that like I don't. Sensory things, right?
I don't even eat fucking ribs with my fingers, man. I eat it with a fork and knife because I'm like, ugh, bleh, bleh.
I got buddies that are like that.
I can eat wings because I've gotten over that. But ribs, I'm just like, I'd rather just fork and knife it. Fork it.
Fork it. Ken, you had all that stuff about the original scripts and stuff like that. Was there anything else cool? Like, did you find a budget for this? Like, I'm curious about a budget because
that is a good question.
Yeah.
Apple TV budget.
I did not find a budget.
What is that? Stephen Jobs budget?
Yeah, Stephen Jobs. I give
Stephen
Trump money budget. It's just I actually made a comment on some video.
It's also Skydance also produced it too. So
yeah, they went full on movie studio. This wasn't like a
$70 million.
70
yeah,
million? Oh,
it felt like there was a budget, and that would be a big one.
You think about it.
Wait. Hold on. No. That's not right. What the shit?
It's what we got,
18.
Ken.
There's so many different ones listed. I saw a 17. I saw 70. I saw. I don't know.
I have a hard time believing this movie would look as good as it does at 17 million because in Katie's Discord the other night they put on that fucking last Hellboy movie that came out last year, which had like a $20 million budget. Oh my God, I didn't even finish it because I had my date. I'm just like, this movie, it looked like someone had Adobe photoshopped monsters into it. Hellboy looked like they take 3D printed his horns out and put them on his head, and he just
no one asked for that movie, by the way. Like, what?
Nobody
asked.
Soul.
It was so soon after that they did a reboot again of a character that like was already done justice. And like you didn't even let fucking 10 years pass. Like fuck off. No one asked for that shit.
They just didn't let Guillermo del Toro do another one because both of the ones that he did are fucking great movies. I mean, now to be fair, neither one of them really lit up the box office, so I kind of understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, that isn't everything, man. Like the quality of the Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movies were.
But that's a filmmaker that knows how to fucking do that.
Material. Yeah, he knew the fucking source material, and he respected and appreciated it.
He's never made a bad movie. Like that dude's record is
his worst movie is, in my opinion, is
The
that
Relic?
fucking Crimson Peak movie, and that movie's rad as fuck.
Or no, did he do The Relic or was that Mimic? Which one of those two movies did he do?
He did The Relic. No, I think he didn't do.
He did one of those two movies. I don't know. That dude, I mean, he's one of those. We were talking about Scott Derrickson and then like Flanagan. He's just one of those guys that like his record is so fucking good, and like he does fairy tales type stuff like better than anything. Like director, I think
he did Mimic.
Okay, those two movies came out right around the same time, and so like I like Mimic. that probably is on the weaker end of his. I would probably guess that's his worst movie that I've seen.
That shit happens all the time because they're selling a script. They're
I'm not
putting it
gonna lie, I
around,
fucking
and
like
then
Mimic a lot.
I didn't say that. Like I said, it was his worst movie.
No,
That didn't say it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not saying that in retaliation to your comment by any means. I'm just. Like,
I mean,
I really fucking like Mimic a lot. I think that
last year we did it. We talked about it when fucking the first Omen and what do you call it? The other pregnant nun movie with Sydney Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
Like they shot these scripts around it. What?
Just boobies.
It's called boobies.
It's called pregnant.
I think it's called
nun boobies.
Boobies.
It's called immaculate. Yes. But like, yeah, that shit happens, right?
Boobies.
Sydney.
I'm a
boobies.
fan.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, everyone loves boobies. Like, there's like.
No, I'm just talking about Sydney.
I mean, everyone loves
boobies.
her too. Boobies. But no, this is
with the classic BEWBI.
Boobies.
That's the classy version to spell boobies.
Boobs.
Ease. Man. You motherfuckers.
Boobies.
Babies. That's like every time we watch a movie in Katie's Discord and there are boobs in it. Like we actually watched the first Bad Boys movie last night, and then watched a whole like a 90-minute, or it probably wasn't even 90-minute, a documentary.
Oh
my
God!
I can't say.
That's okay. That's
right?
about where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's about where I'm at lately. You're
It's nap
right
time?
About masturbation, and so like there's boobs in it, and everyone's just like boobs for like 80 minutes or whatever. So
we're grown adults that are children at heart. Okay.
There's a reason why I got my I got a vasectomy, so I never have to worry about me having to chase after a smaller me, because I didn't want that to happen.
What is it that they said? They said we didn't have kids because we don't want to get up unless we want to. Brian, isn't that what they said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. But no, I really did enjoy this. I think this is a great early. I have a hard time believing I'm going to remember this at the end of the year, though. Like I don't know if it's going to show up in my top 5 list for sure. Like I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean that's very fair. It's also really, really early. So yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, and I think I might agree with you. I really enjoyed it a lot, but yeah,
it was a nice watch. It was a very good watch.
Cool.
It's
Very
something
cool
that like if you're just looking for something to check out, I think it's really good. I don't think it's super scary. I think that it's a little bit more action based, but it's really good and very entertaining.
Yeah.
I know this year we have a bunch of like franchise shit coming out, but I hope there's more stuff like this and like The Monkey, where it's like more one-off and more like in a direction that isn't just fucking franchise shit. Because I know a few of the franchise things we will like and they will inevitably get on our list, but I want to champion original shit, and I want studios to do the same.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree.
I mean, we got Scott Derrickson's Black Phone 2 comes out this year, right? So there's at least another, like Scott Derrickson's on his list.
Is he directing that?
Yeah, it's the same crew as the last one. So
the fact that he's directing it certainly has me intrigued, because I really didn't feel like that movie needed a sequel. But
apparently he's doing it based on, or he waited to do it till the kids were older, I guess. Like, so that it was like a high school coming of age story.
Well, Joe Hill came to him like while they were shooting. So Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, wrote the first, like the short story that he based the first movie on. And then like, I guess he came to him while they were filming, and he's like, I got this idea. And then it made enough money at the box office that they were like, okay,
it was like a $17 million budget, and they brought in $168 million.
Yeah.
That's why I love horror, man.
Yeah.
But I don't want this to happen, though, because like you look at what happened with It, and they broke it up into 2 pieces, and it wasn't, funded.
Second half was garbage.
And the second half was garbage, but because the first half did so well, they threw a bunch of money at it and made a shitty, expensive movie. And I don't want that to happen for the Black Phone 2. Yeah. I wish they would, like, if there is supposed to be 2 parts, I wish studios would be like, we have nothing but confidence in you. Here's the money to make both. Do it now, and they're going to be the same price. So you're making the same product for both movies, and they're both going to be potentially as good as one another, hopefully, right?
I have a question about that. I'm pretty sure that they had planned on doing 2 parts of Stephen King. Yeah, like I don't think that was a question because
they threw so much more money at the second one, like way too much money.
The problem with the second is the same problem with the miniseries. No
one cares about the adults.
Sequence, and honestly, it's a problem with the book too.
Yeah.
The problem is that the adult section of the book and the miniseries and the movie, they've never been as good as the section with the kids ever. So the source material itself wasn't even strong.
But they used too much CGI, and you could see the budget. Why is there so much? Like, if they made it the same way they made the first one, it was more practical. It looked like there was budget constraints, but they worked well within it. Whereas there was too much going on, and I was like, there's like a waste of $20 million right on the screen right now. Like, why are those fish or whatever the fuck came out of the fish tank? I was like, that's so dumb. Like, I hate everything that's happening.
And then they do that. They make the fucking rip off of the head crab from the thing in it, and I was just like, you bastards.
There was also a juxtaposition between horror and comedy in the second movie that I didn't vibe with very much.
Well, I mean, you brought in Bill Hader and shit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was a Hader thing for sure. Don't Hader, man.
No, he was fantastic in the sequel. To be honest with you, Bill Hader was great. He was
my favorite part
about that movie. Yeah. The juxtaposition I'm talking about is like, let's take for. I know we're not talking about this movie, but we're fucking talking about it because we're the Murder Moose podcast and we fucking roll that way.
We ADHD wherever the fuck we want.
There's a juxtaposition between the horror and the humor. And take the James Ransone sequence when his fear, when he's going through that moment, opens their mouth and vomits on him. Why the fuck did they need to start playing Angel in the Morning? Don't get me wrong. It was kind of funny, but it was wildly unnecessary and way out of fucking left field for that film.
They had the budget for it.
They watched it and they were like, boy, this is just not well, let's just put a fucking silly, funny song over it and we'll just make people laugh instead. I don't know. But there was just there was a lot of that in the sequel for it. There was tonal issues in that movie. But unfortunately, but it also there's redeeming qualities in that. Bill Hader was fantastic in that fucking movie.
McAvoy was great. I mean, everyone was great.
Exactly. McAvoy. I mean, you got great performances in that film, and but it's even the miniseries, the adult sequence is weaker than the children's sequence.
I think that's a King thing in general. A lot of his books that do that. Like he's got some books that are just absolutely phenomenal that they do that. Now, like Fairy Tale is one of his books that came out a couple years ago that I fell in love with. That book is so good.
That's good.
But towards like the second half or towards like the second half or like the last third, it kind of does that weird King thing where like it shifts a little bit and you're like, but it's still really good.
I mean, the thing too, right, is the book was written in that like back and forth kind of thing, unlike the movies where they just did the kids and the adults, right? Like the book was like that, right? It was like where they were telling kids and it wasn't like all kids and then all adults. Like they were going back. Wasn't it back and forth or was it two halves? Am I losing my fucking mind? I don't know.
In it?
Yeah.
I did not read it. I
read it when I was like 11, so it's been like
that was the same with me. I started reading it when I was really young.
When I read that too, it's been a long. That's not a reread. It's too fucking big. Like
I was reading it as like a joke because it was so big, and I don't read. And then I actually was reading it, but I didn't fucking finish that shit.
Yeah. Okay.
It does.
We all enjoyed it. I mean, The Gorge is a fun. If you have access to The Gorge, go watch it, man. This movie it might not be like the best horror movie, and it's more of an action movie, anyways. But like, I think
it doesn't matter what it is. I feel like this is a really easy thing to like just be like, recommend. Oh, have you seen? Fucking watch this. Like, you're gonna have a good time with it, regardless of what you like. It has a little bit of everything in there, and you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. Okay, now you two have said it. Are we gonna watch The Monkey next week? I was gonna go watch The Monkey this weekend, so or whatever.
I
Joshua,
would love very
are you
much to
able
talk
to?
about that movie. Yes.
Yeah, I want to see it, so I'm going to.
Okay.
Yay!
Okay, we'll do The Monkey next week. Okay.
Are we gonna do the Black Coat's daughter after that?
Maybe.
I have a request.
You want to do the Black Coat's daughter?
No. I want to make Ken watch another movie that I know she's probably never seen.
Okay, so she's not
but
gonna show up. Okay, what is?
Hold that thought. I want to see Pius, or I want to talk about Pius. Okay, so
Wait a
the fuck
minute
is
now.
that?
When was the last time we watched a movie you wanted? let's go down the Discord rabbit hole.
a lot of mine have been a lot. There's a new movie. I think it's called Pius. It's the new movie coming out at the end of or the middle of March. There was an ad for it. But anyway, we don't have to watch it. We don't have to talk about it right away, but I want to see it. And then I think eventually we should talk about it. Okay.
I've never even heard that.
I want Ken to watch 1986's Trick or Treat.
Okay.
Oh God, I know about that one. And
I want her
I've
to
never seen it.
appreciate the awesomeness that is Sammy Kerr.
Every single time you picked a movie from the 80s that is just
She doesn't
cheese,
show up.
She doesn't show up.
She's gonna show up for this one though. I have faith.
Prom Night 2 and fucking and Shocker. It was just both of them were just mean.
No, I was there for Shocker.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
what-
yeah, you were there for Shocker.
Yeah.
What was the other one that
Go
think
fuck
that you did?
yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, reasonable.
It was Prom Night 2, and then
Reasonable.
it was the one that had the first one and the second one were basically the same movie, but 45 minutes different or
Silent
something.
Night.
Deadly Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh,
Okay. The Monkey next week. Okay. Ken, all your stuff.
Twitch.tv/continue. It's KINTINUE. I've been playing this game called Astrometica. It's literally Subnautica in space.
Astrometica.
That remind me of that. What's that game
sounds like
called?
a Metallica song.
Breathage.
Yeah, Breathage. That's what it looked like. Yeah, Breathage. I bought that game and I didn't realize it was like a survival game in space, and I was like, oh fuck this. And it was cool. Brian, your stuff.
You can find me here. You can find me on the We're Gonna Make You Watch YouTube podcast. In our latest episode, we made Warren watch Final Destination 1. And we had a fucking blast. We had a blast with that one. And our next episode that we're getting ready to record, we are introducing Warren to Candyman.
Nice.
So we're keeping the Tony Todd love going.
I just watched a fucking Mr. Ballin video about the story that inspired Candyman.
The Forbidden? Yeah.
No, the like real life story about the lady who lived in the projects in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
And someone came through her fucking mirror that's why that was in that seat in Candyman, and they fucking they murdered the shit out of that lady, and it kind of yeah.
Were you gonna say that they raw dog killed?
They
that
did.
woman?
Yeah, they said that he was gonna say.
Because I thought you said they raw dog killed.
Death, man.
Listen, super side note, super ADHD. My mom and I were
my
talking
God.
the other day. Now, keep in mind, my mom is in her like mid 70s. We were talking about health insurance, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't have health insurance right now." And she was like, "You what?" And I was like, "I'm just raw dogging life with no health insurance." And she was like, "Raw dogging?" And I was like, "No, I'm so sorry. I should not have said that."
Oh no.
This is coming from the woman that gives me shit about saying cum gutters, but here we are.
We all give you shit about that, man. Like,
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean-
a little bit.
Come.
And coming soon, you can also find me on the Awesomely Bad podcast. Okay, I'm done.
When do you guys
Gosh.
start that?
Very soon. Very soon.
Okay, cool. I'm excited for that. And Josh, all your stuff.
yeah. JoshWRB.com, WRBDesignCo.co, WRB. That's in my name right here. WRB.
Yep.
Big B.
All that Josh guy. Yep. And you can follow me on Twitch at @Johnson. And I'm playing Yakuza pirate movie game thing.
You
so come
never
join me.
played a Yakuza game. What the fuck?
Shut up, Ken. Shut
Wait,
up.
wait,
Okay.
wait, wait, hold on. You get to give me shit for playing simulators and farming games and stuff forever, and you're about to go sink 18 million hours into Yakuza.
This is
Again.
only 20-hour game, Ken. This is
I'm
only a
just kidding.
20-hour game.
I'm just kidding. I'm excited for you.
20 hours?
And you could
man.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in Yakuza games. Okay, guys. We'll catch you guys next week for the monkey, and we love you, and we'll catch you guys soon.
Bye. Anal.
To the game.